How are you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another beautiful zombies commentary. Today what I would like to do is discuss a zombie theory with you guys that gets a little bit ridiculous and far-fetched, and once you start digging down the rabbit hole, it gets incredibly insane. I should note though that this theory is rooted in evidence and facts, and can explain a lot of things in the zombie storyline. You're probably wondering though, John, what is this theory? Well, I believe that the gatekeepers, the people we see in Shadows of Evil that pop up during rituals, are actually members of the Vrill-ya race, and in addition to that, our Origins characters are also gatekeepers. Now, if you wanted, you could use the transitive property and say, since our Origins characters are gatekeepers, and gatekeepers are part of the Vril-ya, then our Origins characters are Vril-ya, but I won't go as far to say that. I will say that they are probably in some way aligned. Maybe they are a part of the same group somehow at some point. The Vril-ya and our Origins characters became sort of like the same entity. However, our Origins characters are in no way members of the Vril-ya race, but they are a part of the same group fighting towards the same goal. If you're wondering though, who are the Vril-ya, let me explain. They have sort of been in the background of the zombie storyline. They've played a large part, but they've almost in a way just been kind of pulling strings and coming up whenever relevant. We first learned about them when we were playing Call of the Dead. Richtofen had us get the Vril generator, and this was the Vril-ya's source of infinite power. Their power is known as the Vril, so the Vril-ya use the Vril energy, and this is where they get all their power. And they live in the center of the earth in a place known as Argatha. Now, within the center of Argatha is actually the Black Sun, and it's believed that the Vril-ya derive the Vril power from the Black Sun, so everything sort of stems off of there. If the Vril-ya derive a lot of their energy from the Black Sun, then it would make sense that their imagery would reflect that, and we would see a lot of Black Suns, and in fact, we do see the Black Sun come up a lot in the zombie storyline, and it's been popping up all over the place as of lately. When you're playing the map Origins, you'll notice it on the chests of the Ancients. Now, the Ancients are our 4 original characters. When we look at this picture right here, which notably is called Primis, which translates to first, we can see it on their chests. We can also see it on the chests of the statues, as well as on the chest of the people who pop up whenever you're powering a generator. They are all wearing this Black Sun logo. The Black Sun logo, that I will remind you, is very important in Vril mythology. This isn't the end of it though. We then see it pop up in Black Ops 3. When you're playing Shadows of Evil, you can see the logo on the chest of the Gatekeeper. And if they are all wearing the same exact Black Sun logo, and the Black Sun logo is incredibly important in the realm of Vril-ya, then what if our characters and the gatekeepers are all part of sort of the Vril-ya, or at least they're working under the Vril-ya? Now, like I said, I don't believe that our 4 original characters are members of the Vril-ya, but I do believe that they are gatekeepers. And here's something that's pretty interesting. When we consider the gatekeepers, their main job or their main goal is to sort of maintain order in the universe. And they do this by protecting the summoning key. That's why they attack every time we're summoning with the summoning key. At the end of the Easter egg, though, Richtofen swoops in and steals the key right as the gatekeepers were about to gift it to our 4 characters. Richtofen then takes it to the Giant. The Giant, though, has been described as the beginning and the end. This is where everything starts, and this is where everything will come to a conclusion. And we always thought that meant that it was the beginning, because this is where Richtofen first goes insane and then locks up Maxis and Samantha in the teleporter. But what if it's the beginning? Because this is where Primis, this is where the Ancients sort of first come together. What if, now that Richtofen possesses the summoning key, him and his crew are the new protectors of the key? They are gatekeepers. They hold and possess the key that opens up interdimensional gates. And this begins a big, long journey that I should note is a little bit of a loop. Richtofen says he wants to protect the world and he wants to better it, and the best way to do that is to hold on to the key. And unknowingly, maybe they start a chain reaction of events that results in where they all actually started. So our characters go on this massive journey, and somehow they end up back in time. but they have all these abilities and they have all these powers, and they come off to the world as gods. And now that they are gatekeepers, they adorn the Black Sun logo. And that's why we see it in this image of Primis, of that sort of just describing them almost as like godlike figures among a sea of people. And then we see that there are carvings of them built into the walls where they're adorning the same Black Sun logo. And then suddenly we see them built up as statues on the map Origins, where everything sort of also began their quest. This is where we were first introduced to the Origins characters. It was on the map Origins where they were already prominently featured as gods. They then go from Origins to Shadows of Evil, then to the Giant, where everything picks back up and it's an infinite loop. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but the big takeaway from all of this is that the Origins characters could quite possibly be gatekeepers or unknowingly gatekeepers. We were told that Primis will fail. This was found on a note within Shadows of Evil, and maybe Primis fails because Primis is unknowingly caught in an infinite cycle. Some food for thought, and I would like to see where you guys take this. Like I said, I don't want people to suggest that our original characters are members of the Vrill-ya, but I do think in some way, by possessing the summoning key, they have become protectors of it and are gatekeepers, and that the gatekeepers that we see in Shadows of Evil, those sort of beasts that have those fangs, are actually members of the Vril. People have suggested that the Vrill-ya were actually found on Kino der Toten and they were the Nova Crawlers. Well, what if the Nova Crawlers and the Gatekeepers, and they all look fairly similar, are in the same vein? They are Vrill-ya. I hope this makes a bit of sense. I know this commentary was kind of all over the place, but if this theory is actually correct, it explains a lot of the zombie storyline, and it explains why somebody would make the egregious claim that Primis will fail. I'll hope you all have a wonderful day. Please subscribe for more if you are interested in commentaries like this, and I'm going to be diving into the zombie storyline a lot deeper in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But, bye.